So after 2 long years, we finally have another trailer for Breath of the Wild 2. This trailer is insane, and it could not be farther away from what I thought we were going to be seeing from this game. Today, I want to take another look at this trailer and kind of dissect it to see if we can make sense of what we saw during Nintendo's E3 presentation. And before we get started, I'm Nintera and I make new Legend of Zelda content every single week, so go ahead and hit the subscribe button if you want to be notified when those videos are uploaded. Now, let's get into my breakdown of the new trailer for Breath of the Wild 2. The beginning of the trailer seems to take place underground where the majority of the first trailer was set. We see tendrils of malice starting to rise into the air before a quick shot of Link's arm being devoured by the very same malice. This shot is going to be very important to remember for the rest of the trailer. We all see who I'm going to assume is Ganondorf raising his arms up into the air by the reddish light that I'm sure is malice swirling all around him, and I also think that this gesture is going to be really important to note for the scene at the end of the trailer. The next thing we see is Zelda plummeting into a chasm that is way too deep for us to see the bottom of. This is probably the result of the scene in the first trailer where we see Zelda falling and then just barely being caught by Link. Clearly he wasn't able to hang on though, and it seems like Zelda is probably lost far beneath Hyrule Castle for now. Then, in a stark contrast, the next thing we see is Link plummeting from the sky in a way that is very reminiscent of how Link falls through this cloud barrier in Skyward Sword. And we see broken up pieces of land floating in the sky very similar to the land above the clouds in Skyward Sword. It also looks like we will be using the same paraglider that we used in Breath of the Wild, but with some added ribbons. In this shot, we also see Link looking totally different than we did in Breath of the Wild, with a green sash, a shield that we haven't seen before, and his hair down out of the ponytail. We also see a huge stone structure up on one of these islands that could be some sort of shrine or temple. I'm not quite sure yet. And there's also this arch that looks to be on a different island, but looks like it's about the same architectural style as that other stone building. And these little floating islands are full of stone ruins and different foliage than we see anywhere else in Hyrule. Up on one of these islands though, we do see a stone golem creature that could be a boss or guardian of some kind. It looks kind of like a lizard with egg-shaped things on its head, similar to some others that are part of the stone structure in the background. Now, in this next teeny little clip, we get a ton of information. We see Link back in an outfit and with equipment more similar to what we saw in Breath of the Wild with no islands up in the sky. And we see that some bokoblins with huge horns on their heads have made a fort on top of a talus. In the background, we also see that there is no longer lava flowing around Death Mountain like there was in Breath of the Wild. This little detail makes me think that we might be going into the volcano for some sort of dungeon or temple, kind of like the fire dungeon in Ocarina of Time. And at this point we reach another huge important part of the trailer, and that is Link's hand being encased with the green energy that we have seen a couple of times both in this trailer and the last one. Link's right hand, which we saw being overrun with malice earlier, looks like it may have been infected or something and is now being infused with this green energy. And we immediately see that his new hand is going to come in handy. It looks like Link can reverse time on a specific item, and he uses that to take out some bokoblins and a moblin with some kind of helmet on his head. In the next scene, we see another really cool item that Link has acquired, which is a shield with the head of a dragon on it. He's using this shield to attack an enemy hanging from the ceiling of a cavern with fire. Hopefully, this cavern will be some kind of dungeon, and this might be a mini-boss or something. We also see another really cool ability that Link's new hand gives him to kind of melt through the floor of those floating islands. So we might be able to find certain locations on the land that we can use to transport up to the sky. In this shot, it looks like Link is popping up in front of this shrine-looking structure, so this might be our new fast travel method since clearly the Sheikah Towers are gone. Just the way that this scene was shot makes me think that this ability is going to be really important and we're going to be using it a ton throughout this game. And finally, we get this long, detailed shot of Hyrule Castle rising up out of the ground and into the sky. I personally think that this is the result of Ganondorf raising his arms up with the malice at the beginning of this trailer. I think that Ganondorf is directly making the malice swirl up from underground and raising the castle into the air. We see rocks and debris just falling from the castle, so safe to say any repairs that have been done since Calamity Ganon was defeated are being undone currently. And our final shot of the trailer is of the castle hovering above Hyrule with malice swirling out of the chasm left behind. So we just got a ton of information from this trailer, and I cannot believe how different it was from the first one. The entire first trailer took place underground, so I figured that's how the game was going to be. We were going to be underground in some tunnels. I could not have been more wrong. I think we were bamboozled. But we got to see some really cool new mechanics and gameplay elements that I think are going to be very important. And for the last part of this video, I just want to talk about some theories and some final thoughts that I have after watching this trailer, outside of just kind of the face value of what we saw. First, I think it's very possible that Nintendo knew exactly what they were doing by releasing Skyward Sword HD about the same time that we were going to be seeing this trailer. There are obviously a lot of parallels between Skyward Sword and Breath of the Wild 2, with us taking to the skies for the next game in the series. I think it's possible that we could be seeing some ancient ruins of Skyloft and the other floating islands from that game in this one, because as far as I can tell, those islands aren't coming from the land of Hyrule. They have to be coming from somewhere else, and I think that place might be up above the clouds. Maybe Nintendo wanted to make sure that any Zelda fans that want to play Breath of the Wild 2 will have the chance to play Skyward Sword, because I think that these two games are going to have really close ties with each other. The lizard-looking guardian that we saw in the trailer also just kind of gives me Skyward Sword vibes. I'm not entirely sure why, it just has that aesthetic to me. Second, I think we may be seeing some kind of really dramatic change during the game in terms of the time period or a before and after of some huge event. It looks like we have parts of the trailer where Link looks similar to how he did in the first game, in similar clothes and whatnot, and during those parts of the trailer we don't see the islands in the sky. Then we have parts of the trailer where Link looks totally different, with his hair down, the green sash thing, and that's when there are islands in the sky. This could be like the before and after of Hyrule Castle being ripped out of the ground, or we might just be switching between two totally different time periods. So I've seen others point out that Link's new outfit looks a lot like the hero from the Tales of Calamity Ganon from like 10,000 years ago, the first time that they used the Guardians and stuff to take him down. And I think it's possible maybe we'll be switching from like current time to past time. Maybe Link from Breath of the Wild is this same Link that defeated Ganon 10,000 years ago. He just hasn't gone back in time and done it yet. I don't know, I think that might be a really cool idea. I would love to see Hyrule in like these different time periods. I want to see it like fixed after Calamity Ganon rose, but if we're seeing it 10,000 years ago when Calamity Ganon tried to rise the first time, we'll really be seeing it just like not damaged at all because they were successful that time. Maybe we already know the outcome of this adventure because we've heard the stories about it and seen the like tapestry drawing, whatever you want to call it. I'm not totally sure what it all means, but I know I am very, very excited for it. So, what did you guys think of the new Breath of the Wild 2 trailer, and do you have any theories of your own about it? And what do you think of my theories? Also, I absolutely want to chat with you guys about this trailer. I want to hear what your theories are, what your thoughts are. I'm so excited and so interested by everything that we saw in this trailer, so please leave me a comment down below so that we can talk about it. Also, like this video if you want to support the content that I'm making here, and hit the subscribe button so that you can get notified about new Legend of Zelda videos from me every single week. And if you want to see me twice a week, I play D&D on a live stream on Twitch every Friday at 8 p.m. Pacific time, so I'll leave the link to that in the description. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you next week. Bye!